Welcome to this deep dive. We're going to be looking at, excerpts from Awakening the Third Eye, a book that lays out a pretty systematic way to develop spiritual vision. So get ready to uncover some really cool techniques and maybe even unlock a few hidden perceptions.
Yeah. It is pretty wild to think we could learn to, perceive beyond the everyday. And
Mm.
this book really kind of dives right into the idea that direct experience, that's what's really valuable, way more than just believing what you read?
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like, it's the difference between, say, reading about flying and actually, soaring through the sky.
Yeah.
So you're saying this book really pushes firsthand knowledge.
Exactly. And something that really intrigued me was how it talks about prior spiritual training. Like it says, even if you've, done some meditation or whatever, approaching these techniques with a beginner's mind is key. Like just clearing out those preconceived notions so you can really open yourself to new experiences.
So, no matter what your background is, you can jump right in. Cool. So the book, it lays out some key principles, one being this idea of trusting your experience. Seems to be advocating for spontaneity rather than trying to force visions.
Yeah, and this really resonated with me. It's about letting go of the need to control the process, just allowing insights to arise organically. And the book also warns against analyzing experiences while they're happening, saying those experiences are more like seeds that need quiet time to sprout.
So instead of dissecting everything right away, you're saying it's more about fully absorbing the experience.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings up a question. What about protection? If we're opening ourselves up to new perceptions, wouldn't that make us more vulnerable?
Oh, that's a really valid concern. And the book addresses it directly, actually. It suggests that developing the third eye, well, it offers a twofold protection. So it allows you to sense negative energies, but also it strengthens your aura so it becomes less permeable to outside influences.
Okay, that's reassuring. And of course, consistency is key, right?
Absolutely. The book stresses making these teachings a part of your daily life, part of
Hmm.
your routine, not just a once in a while thing.
So it's about weaving this awareness into the fabric of your everyday experience. Okay, now let's get to the heart of it. Awakening the third eye. The book lays out a 6-step practice for the initial opening,
Hmm.
and it really focuses on throat friction
Hmm.
and bringing awareness to the vibration between the eyebrows, the third eye area.
Yeah, it's so fascinating how the book actually differentiates the types of perception you might encounter in that area. So you have the etheric vibration, which might feel like tingling or pressure, and then you've got the astral light, which could
Yeah.
appear as haze, colors, or even patterns.
So subtle cues that something is happening.
Exactly. And the book links these to different layers of the third eye, ultimately leading to the perception of a dark space, often described as purple, behind these lights and colors. And this is what the book calls the astral space.
You mentioned earlier that this book really emphasizes direct experience. And, this sounds pretty abstract. What's so significant about experiencing this astral space for you?
Well, for many, experiencing this space brings a profound sense of relief. Like a weight has been lifted from the heart? It's a real shift in perception, like a glimpse into a realm beyond the ordinary.
Wow, that's powerful. So how do we access this space?
The book presents a 5-phase meditation process for developing the third eye. You start by, generating vibrations through throat friction, then connecting with the vibration and light between the eyebrows. Then you move into what it calls the vortex, and finally into a state of just pure awareness. So it's a process of moving from focused effort to receptive stillness.
It's like a journey inward, from the physical to the subtle. The book also encourages integrating this meditation into daily life, right?
Yep.
Not just limiting it to formal practice.
Exactly. It advocates practicing, even for short durations throughout the day and bringing that awareness to the third eye vibration, even during everyday things like walking or driving.
So it's about making this a way of life, not just a practice confined to the meditation cushion. Okay, the book also dives into something called channel release, which sounds a bit more technical. Can you explain what that's all about?
So channel release, it focuses on awakening and cleansing the etheric body, which is your life force energy. And it involves working with these specific energy lines called meridians.
Meridians. Oh, it sounds like we're getting into acupuncture territory.
Yeah, there are definitely parallels. Basically, it's about understanding how energy flows within us. And the book highlights a connection between the third eye vibration and the vibrations you can feel in these meridians.
Okay. I'm picturing like this intricate energy network running through the body. The book, it delves into specific meridians, right?
Okay.
Does it get pretty complex?
It does mention a few specific ones, like the heart constrictor, heart and lung meridians, but it doesn't get too technical. It's more focused on understanding their general function and how they relate to third eye development.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do you actually work with these meridians? Is it like needles or pressure points?
Well, the book proposes a pretty unique method. It suggests using the palm of your hand to actually sense the energy in these channels. Like your palm acts as a bridge to this subtle realm. And it acknowledges that, energy perception can be different from day to day, encouraging you to trust your own experience.
That's reassuring. So it sounds like this practice is about attuning to those subtle nuances of your own energy. Now, the book mentions different levels of perception you can achieve with channel release, right? What are some of those levels?
Well, it starts with simply feeling the vibration along the rubbed line of the meridian. And as you progress, you might actually perceive a flow of energy, what the book calls circulation. Ultimately, the goal is to be able to consciously move energy within those channels.
Wow, that sounds incredibly intricate. I'm curious, does it mention any potential benefits from this practice?
The book suggests that channel release can be used to, like, expel negative energy from your system. And this, in turn, can offer greater energetic protection and possibly even have healing benefits. It's definitely a fascinating area to explore.
Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the ultimate goal,
Yeah.
seeing or clairvoyance. The book, it talks about true vision, perceiving the world as it truly is, beyond those mental constructs. Sounds like a pretty radical shift in perception.
Absolutely. It's about transcending the limitations of the mind and accessing a much more expansive state of consciousness. And the book offers some specific techniques for developing this true vision, particularly through eye contact exercises.
Eye contact, interesting.
Yeah.
How does eye contact relate to clairvoyance?
So it outlines a series of steps, beginning with, familiar techniques like throat friction and awareness of the third eye vibration. But then it gets really intriguing with what it calls the double process of vision. Basically, this involves holding eye contact while maintaining two distinct types of awareness.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me about this double process.
So the first type of awareness is focused between the eyebrows in a state of complete stillness. And the second is awareness of the act of seeing itself, what the book calls seeingness, rather than getting caught up in the actual image you're looking at.
So it's about shifting your focus from the external object to the internal experience of perception.
Precisely. And this practice, according to the book, can reveal how the mind clings to and solidifies perceptions, leading you to a state of consciousness beyond those mental constructs. It's about experiencing a pure, more direct form of seeing.
Almost like peeling back the layers of interpretation to perceive the essence of what you're looking at. Now, the book also mentions a technique called the Atlantean climax. What can you tell me about that?
Well, this technique involves building up intense pressure between the eyebrows while maintaining complete stillness. And this generates a very powerful vibration. It's described as a connection to past states of consciousness, but also as a technique that can be used without compassion.
That's fascinating, but also a little unnerving. Makes me wonder about the potential downsides of developing these abilities.
It's a valid concern, and it definitely highlights the importance of approaching these practices with awareness and discernment. But the book itself seems to advocate for a more balanced approach, introducing a technique called eye contact with the vision of the heart.
Okay, that sounds a bit more, well, heart-centered. What's the idea behind this technique?
So, this technique integrates the feeling of the heart into that double process of vision. It's about bringing a softer, more compassionate quality to the practice,
Yeah.
balancing out the potential intensity of techniques like the Atlantean climax.
Hmm. It seems like a more holistic approach, acknowledging the importance of both power and love in the development of spiritual vision. This has already been so insightful. We've covered so much ground, from the basics of awakening the third eye to techniques for sensing energy and developing clairvoyance. I can't wait to see what other fascinating insights await us in the next part of our deep dive.
Yeah, it really is remarkable, how this book manages to be both structured and open-ended at the same time. Like it gives you a clear path, but also, encourages you to kind of become your own explorer within that framework.
That's a great way to put it. It's like being given a map to a hidden city, but being told to wander freely and discover its secrets for yourself.
Exactly. And moving on from those eye contact exercises, the book then delves into practices specifically for the etheric body.
Okay, so what exactly is the etheric body, and why is it, so important when we're talking about developing, spiritual vision?
Well, the etheric body, it's essentially like a layer of energy that kind of interpenetrates and extends beyond your physical body. It's often described as like the blueprint or the life force of the physical form. And the book suggests that by, working with the etheric body, you can refine your energy and enhance your perception.
So it's like tuning into a deeper level of your being, the energy that animates your physical form.
Precisely. And one of the exercises actually focuses on becoming aware of the entire etheric body as a field of vibration.
Hmm.
So it's a practice of like shifting your perception from the purely physical to the energetic.
Can you describe that experience a little bit? Like, what does it feel like to actually perceive the etheric body?
Well, it can vary from person to person, of course, but some common sensations might be, tingling, warmth, pressure, or even a sense of expansion. It's almost like becoming aware of this subtle vibrancy that surrounds and permeates your physical form.
That's pretty intriguing. And then the book, it guides you to actually discern the life force within that etheric vibration, right? So what's the purpose of that?
It's about going even deeper, connecting with the very essence of your being. The book suggests that by tuning into this life force, you can enhance your vitality and really deepen your connection to your own inner source.
It's like tapping into the wellspring of energy within. And in the book, it encourages you to explore the boundaries of this etheric vibration, sensing how far it extends beyond the physical body and whether it even has like defined limits. It's the significance of that exploration.
Well, it's about expanding your awareness beyond the confines of the physical form,
Yeah.
recognizing that your energy, it extends beyond the boundaries of your skin. And this can lead to a really profound sense of interconnectedness with everything around you.
It's like realizing that you're not just this separate entity, but part of a larger energetic web.
Mm.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit, the book also, it emphasizes the importance of awareness in daily life. And it highlights this practice of looking at an object while simultaneously being aware of that third eye vibration. So how does this simple practice, how does it cultivate awareness?
Well, it's about anchoring your attention in the third eye, even amidst all the distractions of, everyday life. By holding this dual awareness, you can bring a sense of presence and stillness to your experience.
Sounds like a way to like train your attention and become more mindful in your everyday activities.
Yeah, exactly. And it introduces this concept of inner alchemy, which is a really fascinating idea.
Okay, inner alchemy. What does that entail?
Well, the book describes inner alchemy as using that awareness in the eye to filter and refine those external impressions. It's like this internal process of transmutation where you consciously choose which thoughts and energies you allow to influence your consciousness.
So it's not just about perceiving that subtle energy, but actually using that awareness to cultivate a more refined state of mind, like you're becoming an alchemist of your own inner world.
That's a great way to put it. Now, the book also dedicates a section to night practice, which explores what happens to our subtle bodies during sleep.
Ooh, this is where things get really interesting. So the book, it suggests that sleep actually involves a temporary separation of the astral body and ego
Mm.
from the physical and etheric bodies,
Mm.
similar to but less permanent than, death. Can you explain what the astral body is and why this separation is significant?
Sure. So the astral body is another layer of your energetic being, and it's associated with emotions, dreams, and out of body experiences. And during sleep, the book suggests that this astral body, along with your sense of self, basically disconnects from the physical and etheric bodies.
So it's like a nightly excursion into another realm of experience.
In a way, yes. And the book proposes that during this separation, angels actually work on building new astral structures for clairvoyance.
Hold on.
Okay.
Angels, are we talking about like literal angels here?
Well, that's what the book suggests, and it's a fascinating concept to consider. It implies that we're not alone in our pursuit of spiritual development, that there are these subtle forces working, behind the scenes to support our growth.
That's a beautiful idea, but it also raises a lot of questions like what are these angels? What are they actually doing, and how do they contribute to developing clairvoyance?
Yeah, the book doesn't go into like specific details about their actions, but it emphasizes the importance of creating favorable conditions for this angelic help. This includes, receptivity, prayer, a clean and harmonious environment, and a calm inner state before sleep.
So it's about setting the stage for these subtle energies to work their magic. Does that mean that we should be like actively engaging with the third eye during sleep?
Actually, the book actually advises against activating strong vibration in the third eye during light practice.
Oh, that's surprising. I thought the vibration was like key to developing the third eye. Why would you want to avoid it at night?
Well, it has to do with that separation of the subtle bodies. Activating the third eye during sleep can actually hinder that separation by like pulling the astral body back into the etheric realm, and this interferes with the angel's work, and it can actually disrupt your sleep.
So night practice is more about surrender and receptivity, like
Yeah.
allowing those higher forces to work on you during this time of rest and rejuvenation. It's fascinating how passive the practice becomes at night. Is there anything else the book mentions about this night practice?
Well, the book it emphasizes that the angels are primarily focused on building those new structures in the astral body to support clairvoyant vision, and it suggests that they can work more effectively when the astral body is less entangled with the physical and etheric bodies.
So it's like they have more freedom to work when we're not consciously using our astral bodies during sleep. Like we're giving them the space to do their thing.
Exactly. It's a beautiful example of the interplay between conscious effort and surrender in spiritual development,
Yeah.
We do our part during the day, and then we allow these subtle forces to continue the work at night.
This whole concept of night practice is mind blowing. It completely reframes my understanding of sleep.
Wow.
Now I'm wondering what other practices the book recommends for developing those subtle perceptions.
Well, there's a lot more to uncover,
Wow.
including techniques for sensing different layers of the etheric body and even exploring the flow of energy within specific organs.
Okay, I'm hooked. Let's dive into those practices in the next part of our deep dive. I'm eager to see what other hidden dimensions of our being this book will reveal.
Yeah.
I feel like we've gone, pretty deep already talking about, awakening the third eye, exploring the etheric body, all those subtle things that happen during sleep. Really incredible how much this book, Awakening the Third Eye, packs into just these excerpts.
It really is a journey, and you know what I really appreciate about it? It's not just like dogma,
Yeah.
It encourages you to experiment, to find what works for you.
Yeah. Like we've been given this toolbox full of all these cool tools, and we can just like play around and see what we can build. Before we wrap up, I'm curious for you, what were some of the biggest takeaways? What really stood out?
I mean, the whole idea that angels might be helping us develop clairvoyance, while we're sleeping, that's pretty mind-blowing. It kind of changes the way you think
Yeah.
about sleep, Like there's so much more going on than we realize.
Yeah, I know. It's like we have this team of invisible helpers working on us, making our perceptions better, and we're just like snoozing away. Really makes you want to like make sure you're getting good sleep and going to bed with good energy.
Absolutely. And something else that really hit me was, the focus on bringing these practices into daily life. It's not about, becoming a hermit and meditating all day. It's about taking that awareness into like the most ordinary things.
Right. Like seeing the world with new eyes,
Yeah.
feeling that energy that's flowing through everything, even the most basic stuff. It's like turning your whole life into a spiritual practice.
And that concept of inner alchemy, that was so powerful for me, the idea that we can refine our thoughts and make our consciousness better just by paying attention.
Right. It's like we're like alchemists of our own minds. We're taking that, base metal and turning it into gold.
Mhm.
Oh, and speaking of transforming, we didn't even get to, those practices for sensing the different layers of the etheric body. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Oh, sure. So the book talks about how, the etheric body has like several layers, and each layer has its own, qualities, functions, that kind of thing. And there are exercises for, for tuning into each of these layers so you can experience them for yourself.
So like it's like peeling back the layers of an onion, right? Each layer is like more subtle. What kind of like sensations might you have, when you're exploring those layers?
It really depends. Depends on the layer, how sensitive you are, all of that. But some people might feel different temperatures, or like the density of the energy is different, or even colors. Some people see movement or, swirling patterns. Others might just feel this deep sense of stillness. It's really a personal thing.
Yeah, sounds like a real journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
The book also talks about exploring the flow of energy in like
Yeah.
specific organs, right? That's wild. What's the point of doing that?
Well, it says each organ has like its own energy, its own signature. And by tuning into that energy, you can kind of get a sense of how healthy that organ is, how much vitality it has. It even suggests that you can like use your awareness to influence the energy flow. Like you could promote healing.
Wow. So it's like becoming an energy healer for your own body,
Hmm.
using your mind to like direct and harmonize the flow of life force.
Hmm.
It seems like this whole book is about taking control of your energy body, like really going deep into it and seeing how powerful it can be.
Exactly. It's about empowerment. It's about transformation.
I bet our listeners are like so curious right now.
Yeah.
They want to try these practices.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's feeling inspired to pick up Awakening the Third Eye and start their own journey?
I'd say, go for it. Have an open mind, an open heart. Don't be afraid to be surprised. Don't get too, caught up in all the little details. Trust yourself, experiment, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Great advice. And hey, this was just a little taste of what this book has to offer. If you want to learn more, you know, definitely pick up a copy of Awakening the Third Eye and start exploring. And as always, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep shining your light.
Please like, share and subscribe.